Hello there! I haven't uploaded for almost a week. Wild stuff. I had a birthday and I was sick, but I'm back to news that Standard is changing. Or at least I saw this news last week, but I want to talk about it briefly today because I don't want to talk too much about how they can improve Standard. Well, we're going to talk about that anyway, but the real focus is, why are they updating Standard? Should we care? What does this mean for the future of Magic? This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com. It's going to be up cards for Standard, Modern, Pioneer, Commander, Legacy, whatever it is. Use the link in the description below, the code KENOBI at checkout, get 5% off your order and help support the show. I also have playmats for sale. This is my new playmat. It's got me as a guardian Thraben with 2 dogs on either side. I've done the ad spot a few times. I'll be promoting it all through May. It's available to the end of May. Buy a fucking playmat, support the channel. So let's start by talking about the world will know. This trailer here, which I'm going to play you in full in a moment, is actually a trailer they made featuring Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yes, that's Sir Mix-a-Lot. That was meant to tell the world that Magic the Gathering on PC will be the big esports push. That Magic the Gathering's going fucking mainstream, baby, and you can be a world champion. I'm going to play you the trailer now and then we'll talk about it.
We have a new Magic champion!
You will know. And when you leave the stage and the lights, you won't have to tell anyone because they will already know. When you walk into a room, you will see it in their eyes, hear their whispers, feel their respect, understand their fear. Your friends will know, and they will tell their friends. Your mom will tell other moms. Your little sister will know. Your twin brothers will know. So will their twin friends. Even your dog will know. Even me, Mix-a-Lot, I'll know. This game store owner will know, and so will these guys, and so will she, and the actual creator of Magic will also know. Because when you're the world's #1 Magic player, the world will know.
So as you can see, we had some Mix-a-Lot, we had Richard Garfield, we had Pro Jared, we had Kenji, we had Mark Rosewater, we had all sorts of stuff in there. And the whole point of it was that almost 5 years ago, back in 2018, the world will know that Magic Esports will rise to the top. This trailer is no longer available on the Magic the Gathering official YouTube channel. It's been taken down. They don't like people seeing it. It's been re-uploaded by another YouTube account, and now it exists here in this video for context. Back at this point, Wizards wanted to make Magic an esport to rival the other card games that were coming around at the time, to rival Hearthstone's popularity as the esport card game. They were going all in on digital arena as 1v1 competitive Magic. The MPL was spawned, a regular weekly sort of like showcase of competitive Magic, although there was a lot of hindrances and problems there. No one really understood the MPL being the top tier players. They were all getting salaries to stream Magic regularly, to play Magic. Problem was, half of them weren't creator personalities, so they didn't really sell the pizzazz, I guess, of Magic. They also didn't have the stream set up very well, so some of the content was bad. And then when it came to watching them play each other, there's no spectator mode built into Arena. So they'd had this esports push in mind, this 1v1 Standard will dominate the card game card space, and didn't even have a way to spectate the games and show the people at home what was going on with Standard and Magic. It had to like take the broadcast stream from someone else through OBS, and that led to at one point being a pop-up for hot singles in your area midstream. I'm not making it up because someone had some spyware or spam on their computer. It was a mess. The MPL was unsuccessful, but that wasn't the only thing that hindered the growth of Standard and Magic as an esports competitive dream. There were other factors too. The dismantling and then recreation of competitive Magic as the MPL, and then the further dismantling of it is a hindrance towards it all, because there's no incentive to aspire towards something. Magic is no longer aspirational. To clarify that point a little bit further, the original organized play system was ripped to shreds to be replaced with the MPL. And then when the MPL was neither engaging, exciting, or really successful in any way, it was dismantled and we were left in limbo for a while. I think there was a good over a year where we didn't really know what was happening to organised play, and only in the last year or so have we had organised play be put back out there as an option, as a proof that Wizards do care about this in some way, and a push towards something that isn't just Commander. Alongside all of this, though, we had COVID, the pandemic from 2019, where the world shut down and physical events ended. During that time as well, the competitive Magic scene was dying, as Wizards were not managing it very well. There's multitudes of factors here going on. Competitor games did take up the mantle, Flesh and Blood took over like physical space Magic, or physical space card games, should I say, with a pro circuit and events. They literally took up the mantle of Pro Tour when Wizards of the Coast took Pro Tours away. Prior to all this, if we look back over the years, does everyone remember when they took commentary away as well? Coverage, should I say, of Magic events? It used to be that every weekend you could log in on Twitch and just watch a big Magic event through Star City or Channel Fireball or someone and have commentators of the top, highest quality. I did some floor reporting for GPLA a year or so before COVID, and like Louis Scott Vargas and I'm blanking on the other one, Marshall Sutcliffe and Willie Johnson, they were all on the desk as well. God, that was a struggle to remember names then for a moment. Well, maybe I'm still sick, who knows? But that was like in the middle of them taking it all away. That was like the last hurrah. Or we had brought it back and people were excited, but I guess the viewership numbers aren't there, the sponsorships aren't there, so it's really hard to maintain an expensive thing like coverage. The point is, I'm going over all these bullet points that are all videos in themselves. I did videos at the time on each and every single one of these things, multiple in fact. I've talked about the world will know in many videos. But it all culminates in a push to make Magic an esport, or a push to make Magic 1v1 important, and it all failing. And then during the pandemic, they doubled down on the collectability of game pieces for the more casual side of Magic. If I said to you that Magic is predominantly focused upon Commander right now, that wouldn't be an overstatement. No one would disagree with me. That is just the matter of the fact. And that's not just them producing more and more Commander products in terms of precons and straight to Commander products that are doing Commander reprints. Even the average design philosophy of each and every set is tailored more around Commander. Splashier, more powerful rares. It used to be that a rare for Commander would be a dog shit 7 mana or 8 mana mythic. Nowadays it's a Great Henge or a Smothering Tide that's actually quite strong, sometimes showing up in actual constructed Magic. And by actual I mean 1v1 competitive. Multiversus Legends is probably one of the biggest versions of this, where there's a card in every pack of March of the Machine that can be drafted. That is a legendary aimed at the Commander crowd that transforms the limited environment. Not for the worse either. Not all of these changes are terrible. In this case, people have said that March of the Machines might not be the most competitive draft format, but fuck me, is it fun. I've done videos on all this stuff too. I did a video on how the number of legendaries in Magic has like doubled over the course of the last even 3 or 4 years, simply because of the demand for more and more legendaries to feed the machine. That is hype, and the hype is focused on Commander. I did a video on Standard dying, or at least on how Wizards had killed it, and then Forsyth had asked on Twitter what killed Magic, and I was just laughing at the fact that, what killed Standard, sorry. And I was laughing at the fact that it was you guys. It was misstep after misstep, mismanagement after mismanagement. But now, after that, during the last Pro Tour that was on only a couple of weeks ago, they announced updates to Standard and Alchemy on MTG Arena. In short, the changes look like this. Standard will now rotate every 3 years, not 2 years. So everything that's currently in Standard and in the future what will be in Standard for an extra year. Okay. The really fucking weird part of all this is that Alchemy, which is the digitally balanced or rebalanced version of Standard on Arena, will still rotate every 2 years. I also think that Lord of the Rings is going into it. I should have looked that up before I started. Either way, Alchemy is dog shit, and they continue to make it a weird, stepchild that no one wants. Is that harsh to say? Stepbrother that no one wants. That still feels harsh. No one wants it. I find this a really interesting paragraph where they say, as we focus on revitalizing Standard tabletop play, MTG Arena will be right there supporting all aspects of the game. We're ecstatically looking forward to the Lord of the Rings Tales of the Middle-earth set coming to Arena on June 20th. We will continue to support Alchemy and embrace Explorer with more to come this year. And of course, all of these bring cards to Historic. Arena will continue to support all its major formats guided by the play data that we see by community feedback. And of course, today I received an email telling me that the price of all pack purchases and gem purchases on Arena is going up by around, I think it's 10%. Why does the Arena economy always take 1 step forward and 2 steps back? It really fucking bugs. The reason I mentioned that paragraph is that it's funny that they mentioned we're taking steps to revitalize Standard, and they immediately go on to make sure that everyone knows the older formats are available on Arena and that Lord of the Rings is coming, which isn't Standard viable and stuff. It feels like mixed messaging, honestly. So, what am I saying in this video? There's 2 parts to this video now. One, I'm going to explain how I think that this is only the first step towards making Standard accessible or interesting to people like me and franchise players and new players. And the second part is that them suddenly doing this to Standard after Standard getting like ruined throughout the pandemic is interesting because it's just a different approach to the future of Magic as a product and as a brand. On the first point, real quick, 3 years of Fable of the Mirror Breaker or Shieldred or whatever fucking rare you're sick of seeing sounds doggers. It sounds bollocks. Why would you want that? Standard's biggest problem for me has always been the rotation, making the cards useless, but more so than that, it's that keeping up with Standard was a much more time-consuming process than any of the other formats, and from a content creator standpoint, a very selfish standpoint, I want content that people can watch in a year or two, not stuff that rotates. So maybe the 3-year thing helps with that. Maybe I can invest in the deck for longer and get involved with it and excited by it. So the 3-year thing, it makes you sit with cards that you hate more, but then it will also allow you to stay with a deck that you enjoy more. There are swings and roundabouts, there are upsides and downsides. The one thing I will say about this before we move on is that this is not a fix-all. This is not even the whole, a portion of the puzzle or the pie. I think they need to incentivize people to want to play Standard. They need to run events that have good prize structures. They need to push stores to run events with good prize structures by giving away decent promos. The promos at the moment, let's be honest, some of them are cool, but they're not going to get you into a fucking game store, are they? The old player rewards, the old Pro Tour path. I mean, we've got a Pro Tour path now, but no one really understands it. Spend more time, energy, and money on reinventing Magic's competitive track to be aspirational or exciting. I don't think it's just a 3-year Standard rotation on Arena is going to tickle anyone's pickle who wasn't already playing Standard. It's not going to do much other than maybe piss people off as they play against more and more Fable and Shieldred than they thought they would when they first got into the current format. But the more exciting thing and why we should actually give a shit about this, even if we don't plan to play Standard. I play very little Standard. I often dip my toe in and then find myself bored and move on. Maybe that's because I like to play too many different formats. Maybe it's that. But the fact that Wizards of the Coast now are changing their attitude towards Standard suggests to me that it's one of two things. Firstly, it's that Commander isn't the sustainable money cow that they first thought, and that making everything Commander now might not be good for the long-term profitability of the game. However, I don't know if I buy into that fully. It was just one of my first thoughts. I think it's more likely that they've realized that there is a wider cash cow. There are other parts of the buffalo that they can carve off and serve to us on our plate. It's very clear that selling us collectibles through Secret Lairs and selling us Commander shit is making them money, right? They're making more money than ever. Absolutely. But why not do that and also have a competitive track that encourages people to play a rotating format that churns over wild cards on Arena and cards in physical paper? Magic as a 60-card 1v1 game has been in a bit of a decline. It's not gone or dead, and it never truly will be, as long as people like myself and you watching this want to play modern, legacy, historic 1v1 Gladiator, which is a beautiful format on Arena. But it's easy to say that actually the love and the passion for it is just not what it once was. I used to go to events all the time to play it. So on a personal level, it's not where it used to be. I would love for them to bring that back, to push their Magic cons and their Command Fests towards having huge tournaments again. And they've started to do that. Seeing the Ragavan promos and the Jason was Pro Tour, but the Ragavan Secret Lair promos for the Pioneer events, that's not Minneapolis, the one before, these things here on screen, these were promotional cards that you'd win by playing in a Pioneer tournament. And these cards are worth fucking money because there's only like 30 odd of them in existence. Did a video on that as well. This sort of stuff shows a keenness to promote 1v1 Magic as a actual thing again. And that excites me in many ways because it means that they're not all in on turning everything into Commander and burning the rest of Magic to the ground to support that. I think that's great to hear and to see. Recently I watched Welcome to Wrexham, the documentary about Ryan Reynolds and, this is going somewhere, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, I'm bad with his surname pronunciation, them buying Wrexham, a football club. Anyway, the documentary is interesting because it talks about community and how following a sport is really exciting from a communal aspect of people growing and creating relationships and having fun with it. And it made me miss the old days of when myself and a few of my friends would tune into the Pro Tour and discuss it afterwards and be excited about big wins and stuff. I remember watching the Pro Tour on the sofa with a friend of mine in my old house way before the pandemic, way before I was actually a big creator. I say big in the small pond. And when I was watching Welcome to Wrexham, it gave me this feeling that I wanted to have a sport, or an esport even, considering my hobbies and my habits, that I could engage with more. And immediately I thought about LCS, and I thought about League of Legends and following that more. I play a load of leagues, so why do I not care about the esport itself? When talking about this with my wife though, she said, like, what about Magic? And I thought, well, there's actually a Magic Pro Tour happening right now as I'm watching this. But because it's standard, I didn't give a shit. I didn't want to tune in. I didn't care. I still followed it loosely on Twitter. I still saw pros that I like and I've met making top 8 and being excited about it. So there was a tinge of excitement there, but it didn't quite capture me. I'm hoping with the modern Pro Tour that's coming up, that's right, if you didn't know, the next Pro Tour is modern. I'm hoping, is that actually being held at Barcelona? Let's look into that. I'm hoping I'll be more interested in watching the coverage and being into it. I do think that modern itself got bastardized. A lot of the other formats got hurt as well. This video is mainly about standard, but 1v1 6-card Magic didn't do that well coming out of Modern Horizons beating it around the head as well. Some people will say it did, but most people will say it did. So maybe that'll get me more interested. But ultimately, I think this whole announcement is more interesting from the perspective that Wizards actually give a shit about standard. And that it's not just some passion project for the people at Wizards. It seems like it's a direction the company wants to change things and aim towards growing, perhaps. But, I mean, we had an esports push, we had an MPL, we had a reformation of competitive Magic, and none of those things revitalized Magic to where I felt like it once was. And some of this is just how I feel, but I'm kind of excited to see them push towards a world where 1v1 Magic might be exciting and that new players might be interested in it again. Because it is tiring only talking about Commander with new players. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. This video's been a bit rambly. Just some thoughts that I had about this that I wanted to share before the news is old hat until it's donkey dust. That's a phrase I just made up. That's not something that other Brits say. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, if you subscribe, and if you're looking to buy some cards, check out coolstuffinc.com. Playmats on sale as well. Link in description. And I'll see you all later. Ta-ta for now.